Okay, so these are tips every Kenyan needs to know before applying for a Schengen visa. So these are just tips outside of the visa requirements that are provided to you by your embassy. These are just tips separate from that. My phone just beeped. Okay, so number one, when one of the requirements for applying for a Schengen visa is that you have to provide your bank statements or your statements in general. So when printing your bank statements, don't print your bank statements at the bank because it just costs more. An example is when I had to print my bank statements, I think at the bank which I bank at, I think it was they were charging me about 275 shillings a page, which is a lot, and I had to print a lot of pages. So in the end, I spent about maybe 7 or 8K just printing bank statements, and it was because each page was like really expensive. Instead, do this: go to a cyber cafe, print out your bank statements, which you can just request from whichever bank you have. You can request from them online, or they probably send them to you in email. So print those out at a cyber cafe, and then go to your bank and then line up and then have them stamp it, because essentially what they have to do to verify the bank statements is that each page needs to have a stamp. So just go to your bank and then have them stamp each page, and that way you'll save lots of money. It can save you from like spending 8K to maybe spending about 300 shillings on printing. Okay, whew, that was all in like one breath. Number two, I think something which people take lightly, and I think is something which can help you maybe in the long run, is to when printing your passport photos or when going to a studio for your passport photos, make sure to go to a studio that prints good passport photos, because this is a picture that's going to be in your passport. So this is a picture that whenever you're going to any border, they're going to have to open it and they look at it to verify that it's you. So make sure you go to a studio or a photo studio that takes good pictures. That's part number two. Number three, and I think this is a point for like after you get your visa, or like when you're applying for a visa. I think it's just important, especially as maybe if you're a person of color, to be sure, like when whichever airlines you choose to use, make sure to do some research about like where if there's a layover or if there's like a connecting flight, which airport is this connecting flight going to be at, because there's certain airports, I'm not going to mention which ones, which are sometimes a bit racist towards black people or people of color, and that you don't want to be mistreated, like you don't want to be made to feel like second-class citizens or like less human while traveling, especially when you're tired. So be sure that when you're booking your flights, make sure to book an airline that passes through or has a connecting flight from a place that doesn't have a reputation for being racist. If you can get a direct flight, well and good, but sometimes those can be even more expensive. Point number four. So this is a tip that I got from my friend, and also this point is a tip for after you've gotten your visa and you're already traveling. My friend mentioned that it's good if you have like a good suitcase, or at least when you're headed to the airport, you at least try to dress. I know you can be tired and you can be exhausted and everything, but at least try to maybe dress in smart casual, or not. It doesn't have to be like expensive, like branded clothing like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, or anything like that. But at least have your clothes well ironed and look presentable, because then again, we unfortunately live in a racist world where people will judge you by your appearance. So it's easier to navigate through airports and border control, especially if you are a little bit well dressed. So unfortunately, like our other counterparts, we can't go through airports just wearing pajamas, even though that would be more ideal. But yes, just try to dress a little bit more presentable, and that would make it easier for you, especially when navigating through border control. Another tip which I think is important is that before you're handing over your passport to the embassy, I think it's always important to take a photocopy of your passport. In case of anything, you can always have a copy, and you can prove that it's yours, like whatever happens. If sometimes things happen and things get lost or whatever, so always have a photocopy of your passport, a digital copy, to be safe. You can send it to yourself on email, and that would be really helpful. Above all else, make sure to have fun with it. Traveling is always great, but these are just like tips that I wish I knew earlier, which could have helped me avoid a little bit less stress. We've come to the end of the video. If you love the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and then I'm going to make more travel content. I want to make more travel content, but I just wanted to share some tips or tricks that have helped me while traveling, just for anybody else who wants to travel and they were just looking for some quick tips. Bye!